Hello everyone. In today's video we're going to take a look at Cryptomator. Cryptomator is an open source audited encryption tool that allows you to encrypt your files locally and then via the cloud using Google Drive or OneDrive or Dropbox or other similar cloud-based providers. This allows you to essentially have the best of both worlds in that you can have your files stored in the cloud but also encrypted with an encryption algorithm that you only have access to. Cryptomator works with Windows, Linux, Mac, and there's also a mobile client available as well, but we're not going to cover that in today's tutorial. This tutorial is broken into 4 sections. The first part where we download and install Cryptomator onto our Windows machine. Then we'll go ahead and we'll create a local vault and do a test encrypt and decrypt of some local files. And then we'll create a vault in Google Drive and we'll do a test encryption and decryption of those files and just show you what the files look like both locally and on Google Drive in encrypted format. You can equally use OneDrive or Box or similar. Then in the 4th section we'll show you how to install Cryptomator onto your Ubuntu Linux machine, mount your Google Drive and then mount the Cryptomator vault from within inside your Google Drive and show you how to access your encrypted files and also select a custom mount point. The download links for Cryptomator and any other tools used in this tutorial are in the description below as normal. Okay, let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so Cryptomator is available from cryptomator.org. So we've spun up a Windows 10 machine here. We're just going to go to cryptomator.org and we're going to take the Windows download for the 64-bit version for Windows 10. So let's go ahead. Okay, so it's just brought us to the main website. Just going to click the download now button on the home screen. Okay, and then download Cryptomator for Windows. I'll speed up this section. So let's go ahead and install. Just going to take the defaults. I'm going to select the optional extras here as well. Just go back and select them. Install on local drive and next and finish. Okay, so we've got our Cryptomator application now installed. First things we're going to go ahead and do is create a new local vault just to get started. So if we click finish. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and create a new vault. We'll just give it a name here. We'll call it test vault and we'll click on done. Okay, in this section we're going to create a local vault, so we'll ignore the OneDrive entry here and we'll select a custom location for a local vault. We'll click on choose. We'll just pick our My Docs location just as an easy location to use, but you can select any location you want on your hard disk. Select folder. Okay, so we're going to enter a password for our vault. This will be used there as our encryption and decryption key. So it is important that you keep record of this, and we'll also have the option to have a recovery key once we hit create vault. Okay, so here's our recovery key. This means if we lose our password, we'll be also able to use this key as a means to get back into our vault. So we'll take a copy of that and we'll just pop it into Notepad, and ideally you'd save this in a safe place in a password manager or somewhere secure should you need it at some point in the future if you had forgotten your password. So our vault's created. We can select unlock now. We'll pop in the password we just used. Unlock our vault. So our vault is now accessible. If we reveal vault, it should open our folder. See, it's mounted it down here as a drive, as an E drive. The actual underlying files for this vault are in the My Documents folder, and I'll show you this just in a second here. You can see here is our test vault folder. But the files are only accessible from inside our mounted vault. So if we do a new and text document here, just call it test123. We'll open it and just put a bit of text in here. We'll just call it test123 again. We'll just save it and we'll move it into our vault. So it's now in our unlocked vault. If we close this, we then select to lock the vault, our mapped drive has disappeared, and if we browse to our My Documents location, the only information in here is all encrypted. It's unidentifiable and useless to anyone else. You see here in My Documents, you can see test vault. You can see your master key file, but you can't see any actual data here that's unencrypted. So your file is securely stored within the vault itself. We just click unlock here again, pop our password back in. We can click on reveal vault. You can see once again our test vault's mounted as our E drive, and we can see our test123 doc. And if we just open that, you'll see the line of text I entered in. So now we're going to create a vault inside our Google Drive account. So we're going to hit create new vault here again. And this will be a vault we'll be able to use to secure locally, and then the files will sync to our Google Drive account in an encrypted format, and therefore allow us to have our files securely backed up in the cloud. Okay, so we've loaded Google Drive onto this machine. There's no files in the current Google Drive folder, as you can see. So we'll hit create new vault. Again, we'll give it a name. We'll just call it test Google vault and click on next. You can see here it's automatically picked up the Google Drive is installed. Click on next. Again, we need to put in an encryption key here for our vault. We just click create vault and we'll select unlock now. We're done. You can see here if we just browse, we can now see it's created our vault. We can just hit unlock. You can see in Google Drive here, there's our test Google vault. Again, there's nothing here that's in clear text or in an unencrypted format that's accessible. If we hit unlock here, we pop in our password. The same as before, it'll prompt us to reveal our vault, which we'll go ahead and do. And you can see here it's mapped the drive and open the window into our vault. So again, it's the same process as before. We can drop a file in here, or numerous files. It'll secure them in the vault, and it'll allow then the files to be synced up to your Google Drive. And this is effective in that it'll individually sync the files up. It won't try and mirror the entire vault. So if you have a large amount of data, it'll just upload the changes using your Google Drive. So you can see here, we've just created a file, saved it again, and we're just going to hit lock vault again. We can just go back here, we can see here in our window behind us here, there's no data that's accessible or identifiable in the vault again. In our Google Drive folder, it's all gibberish, which is correct. If we go to our drive online here, you can see, I'll just close that. You can see the folder that represents our vault, but again, all of the data inside it is encrypted and it's useless to anyone else. So in order to access this vault from a different machine, you'd need to sync the folder down and then open the Cryptomator master file and put in the correct password. And that's it. That's all there really is to it. It's an easy enough tool to use. It offers the ability to synchronize your encrypted files from your local machine up to your Google Drive. So it means that no third party can look at your files without the encryption key. And it's a free product and it's been independently audited. So given that Cryptomator is cross-platform and works on Linux as well, we'll spin up a quick Linux desktop. This is just an Ubuntu desktop as a virtual machine that I had. We'll load up Cryptomator and we'll mount our Google Drive as a Fuse mount point on it. And we'll then mount and open our vault from within Google Drive using Cryptomator. And we'll also set a specific mount point here as well. So first things first, let's open Firefox and we'll go over to our download now link. Okay, so we're going to select version 1.57. Some of the earlier versions had bugs in it and we're going to add it as a repo to our Ubuntu box. All we need to do is open a terminal and copy and paste the commands listed herein. That'll add the repo onto our system and we'll then be able to do an sudo apt-get install Cryptomator once we've got the libraries in and updated. So we'll just copy and paste these in. We'll just put in our password for our user if I can remember it. Then we'll just do an sudo apt-get update. And then an sudo apt-get install Cryptomator. Okay, it just takes a minute to run through its download and install. It's important as well that if you're downloading this from another source, you're looking for 1.57 or later as the release version. As I mentioned, there were some bugs in the earlier versions, caused blank vaults and lockups on the machines. Okay, so we're installed. Let's just have a quick look and we can see our Cryptomator icon is there in our search bar. We'll just add that to our favorite. Now, before we go and try and open our vault, we need to add our Google Drive to the machine. So I'm going to use a Fuse library for this. I'll again put the links in the description. We're just going to add the repo and then we're just going to do the same as we did previously, an sudo apt-get update. This just allows you to mount your Google Drive as a Fuse file system on a mount point on your machine. I did try adding it as a direct cloud file system, but it didn't seem to work properly when trying to mount the volume. So here we go, sudo apt-get install Google-Drive-Ocaml-Fuse. Again, just takes a minute or two to install. Okay, we're finished. So now we're going to make a directory just to act as a mount point for our Google Drive files. So let's just cd back into our home test folder. We'll do a make dir Google-Drive and press return. Now if we ls into this, you'll notice that it's actually empty. Obviously we have to start the program. You can see here we need to first authenticate with Google Drive to allow the access key and the API token to be generated for our install, and then we should be able to mount and see our files. So just log into your Google Drive when prompted. Allow access. So you'll see just a message here, the application has successfully granted access. Down the bottom in our shell session here, we're just waiting for a section to tell us, a line to tell us that it has generated the token. Okay, so here we go, access token received correctly. So it's now authorized the app to our Google Drive account. So we should now be able to actually start and mount it. Okay, so again, as I said, if we cd in here, there's nothing actually in there yet. We need to cd out and start the actual program. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay, so the command is google-drive-ocamlfuse and tilde Google Drive. And now if we actually look in here, you can see our test Google Vault that we created in the previous section. So now we can go over to our Cryptomator and we can now add this vault. Now when you go to add it by default, it adds it through an automatic mount point that is picked by Cryptomator. What we really need to do is we want to add it to a custom mount point to make it easier to access later on. But we'll just go ahead and let it take the default mount first down just to verify we can actually access our vault from Google Drive. We'll hit reveal drive. Okay, so you can see in here we have our test doc we created earlier on. We have our line of text we entered. But the mount point for this is not easily accessible, and if you're going to save files to it, it's not as easy to see where it's located. So while you can create a folder there when the window's open, that's no problem. And it's easy and it's obvious where it is. There's no mount point on the left hand side here to make it obvious as to where to save your files. Remember, you're opening a mount point from your Google Drive files, so it's not saved directly into Google Drive per se, it's saved into the mount point or the share location of your vault. We'll just open a writer doc here and we'll file and save as. You'll see what I mean. Okay, so if you go to Google Drive here, you can see test Google Vault, but that's the encrypted version of the files. It's not the decrypted version with the mount point associated with it that was open in the previous window. So it makes it very confusing as to where your actual files are located. So in order to clear that up, we'll create a custom mount point in Cryptomator. So when it mounts the vault, it mounts it to a specific location, making it much easier to work on your existing files and know if your vault is mounted or not. You can see we're just browsing encrypted directories here. It doesn't look like the right place to be saving your file. Let's just go back here. Okay, you can see the path that it's actually mounted is completely different here than what we're browsing. If we actually were to open a terminal session and cd in there, you'll actually see our unlocked vault. So let's just cd into home, test.local, and then into store, and we should see a Cryptomator folder here, and into mount, and into ls, and that's our vault, and in there's our docs. So as you can see, it's not easy or straightforward if you opt to just let Cryptomator mount the volume for you in its default location. We're going to go and change that now. We'll just say cancel here, we don't really want to save it. So if we click on mounting here and we do custom path, we can create a custom mount point so that it automatically mounts the decrypted vault from our Google Drive to a specific mount point on the operating system every time that it's opened. And this will make it nice and easy for us to save files and view files and see whether our vault is mounted or not, as opposed to taking the default path. So let's go ahead And we'll just create a file, or folder should I say, called Cryptomator files. We'll just leave this in our home folder and open. See here down the bottom it says Cryptomator files under home test. Let's go unlock again. Reveal vault. You can see straight at the top here, Cryptomator files is the folder. It's mount point, so you can see our files, but you can also see on the left here that it's mounted and highlighted. And now if we go to open a file in Writer and save it, it makes it very easy and very straightforward to know you're saving your files inside your vault to the correct location. You see here, if we just go down, you'll see our Cryptomator files mount point is here. You can see our test folders there that we created earlier on. Go ahead and we'll just call this, hit save. We'll hit close out of that. Okay, so you can see our file is now in our decrypted vault. If we unmount this, hit lock, you notice that it's disappeared here on the left, just left with our existing Google Drive, and we can't see any of the files that, you know, we've encrypted, and the mount point has disappeared from the window on the left. Okay, so we'll just go ahead and we'll hit unlock, reveal vault. We'll put our password back in. You can see our mount point has reappeared, and the additional doc we added a few minutes ago is there, as well as our original doc and our test folder. If we lock here, you'll see the vault that's mounted for Cryptomator files disappear on the left. It's gone. If we actually browse into that folder, you can see there's nothing now on that mount point, so it'll be empty. And that's it, folks. That's all there is to it. That's Cryptomator on Ubuntu, using Google Drive to encrypt your vault, and then mounting the vault locally with a custom mount point, adding a test document to that and saving it, and then mounting and unmounting the vault just to demonstrate how the process works. Okay, we've reached the end of the video. Thank you for watching. Please remember to like and subscribe, and check out the links in the description and also in the recommended video.